Hi everybody, I'm Rick Duncan out in the Metro Parks in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm thinking through leadership development issues. And I guess it kind of comes easy for me, partly because about 2.5 years ago I passed the baton as the senior pastor at Cuyahoga Valley Church to a younger leader. He's about 20 years younger than me, and I'm kind of growing in my understanding of how important it is to empower younger leaders to take on areas of responsibility. We're thinking through issues of leadership pipeline at our church. What does it look like if you lead yourself well? What does it look like if you lead others well, like a life group leader or a small group leader or a Sunday school teacher? What does it look like if you're a leader of leaders? What's it look like if you're a leader of a department and then the leader of the organization? So we're trying to define that at Cuyahoga Valley Church, but I thought I'd just share a few thoughts about some of that higher level leadership development. Why is it that so many lead pastors just hang on a little too long in many cases and then watch the demise of a ministry that they've built over the years? You know, I have a personal story about that. My dad was a lead pastor, and he had a desire to move forward in his life and ministry. But right before he hit retirement age, my dad got cancer, and 2 years later, he was gone. He was gone to heaven. And that church that he had built in Central Florida, they had to develop a building program, and they built a new building, and the room was full. That church has really never been the same. And Dad's been gone almost 30 years now. And so as I watched that, I thought, wow, I wonder what might have happened if my dad had intentionally and strategically and in a timely fashion transitioned leadership to a younger leader. So when I hit 55, I began to think about that at Cuyahoga Valley Church. And I worked with the elders, and we developed a process to think about how can I pass the baton to a younger leader but still stay on. You know, I'm a granddad now. Got a 4-year-old grandson and about an 8-month-old grandson, and I'm not responsible for raising those kids. However, I'm involved. I'm involved as a grandfather. And there's a sense in which I think a lead pastor can stick around in the life of a church and be involved. Maybe not as the lead guy anymore, but kind of like a grandfather. And so some things have happened even this week. You know, I was able to give Chad Allen, our new lead pastor, a little bit of advice on 2 different men that he was meeting with this week. One of them is a Christian leader here in Northeast Ohio that I've known for over 20 years. And another one is a member of our church that I've known for over 20 years. So I was able to give Chad a little background before he went into some important meetings with those guys that I think is going to be helpful. You know, I'm not trying to sway his opinion, but he came down the hall and said, hey, got these meetings, what do you think? So he's not kind of walking into some meetings without some helpful information and perspective and context. So I can add value in that way. You know, a guy that has the freedom now to read and think about some strategic issues in the life of the church. I'm able to add some values when it comes to just reminding us of how important it is to make sure that our vision frame is being implemented in all of the ministries. I'm able to focus on some tasks that I wasn't able to focus on before. More hands-on in discipleship, more hands-on in designing discipleship environments and strategies and systems in the life of our church. I get to preach about once every 4 to 6 weeks. I have the opportunity to go out and preach at some of the churches that we've planted. I won't be teaching this weekend, but next weekend I'll be teaching at another church. One of the pastor friends of mine just sent out a quick email a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, can somebody come and preach for me? I'd like to kind of take a breather and have a Sunday off. And because I was free, I was able to go. So God has given me plenty of opportunities, and I'm so grateful that Cuyahoga Valley Church sees the value of having me still on staff, still engaged in the area of leadership development and also missions, still able to provide some pastoral care and some encouragement to handle some weddings and handle some funerals and some preaching opportunities that kind of frees our lead pastor and our staff up to stay focused on some other things. So every day your current lead pastor lives, he's one day closer to becoming the former lead pastor of the church. So that's either going to happen tragically by death, like it did for my dad, and that church wasn't ready and has never rebounded from losing him, or it's going to happen intentionally, where the pastor just resigns, maybe rides off into the sunset and says, hey, I'll pray for you guys as you look for your next pastor. Or it can happen a little more intentionally, as we did at Cuyahoga Valley, where we invested in the life of this new leader over a 2-year period and then empowered him to become the next lead pastor of the church. So, and maybe you should have a conversation with your pastor, and if you need a little advice or a little encouragement or a little perspective, you can reach out to me. I'm at rduncan@cvconline.org, or you can reach out to me at rick@auxano, AUXANO.com, rick@auxano.com. And I'd love to see if maybe I could kind of help your church or help your pastor think through some leadership development issues. Anyway, hey, God bless you, and hope you're having a great day. There's no success without a successor. So I hope you're thinking about that. I hope your church is thinking about that. And there is life after lead pastoring. And it's fun, it's energizing, and useful. So God bless. See you soon.